Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I won, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a path, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I don't want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one.
3, 2, 1. Blast off. What's up, everybody? Happy Saturday morning. Woo! Energized as fuck, bro. Feeling great. Yesterday, I had this business meeting with this guy who, for my other company, where we're going to do some web work together and possibly some other work. He's actually doing some sort of health thing. He's going to be launching what is a collection of a lot of different supplements and a lot of different chemicals that he calls the health matrix. And he truly believes that it's going to revitalize a lot of people's health. So I had a conversation with him about the website because my other company is a web development business. And we had Wagyu beef. Wagyu beef. I don't know if you guys ever had Wagyu beef before, but maybe years ago. I haven't had it in so long. It's not something I target or something I buy or look for. Apparently it's, Japanese beef. And they massage the cows and they do some other physiological optimization to the cows. And the beef ends up turning out really, really phenomenal. And it was really great. Those of you that are seasoned in this and you get what Wagyu beef is, you're like, yeah, welcome to the club, bro. Totally. I mean, it was really something else. They gave us these big salt blocks, which were hot. It was like an oven, just salt blocks that were hot as hell. And you cook the beef on the salt blocks. It was really something else. So that was interesting. Yeah, I've got a lot of comments on the prop video. Man, I mean, there's an epidemic of people on testosterone, cypionate, and any long ester that are having issues with libido and erections. And, look, they picked cypionate for mainstream because it was practical, because they determined that it was impractical to dose every day, which you'd have to do with prop or every other day, right? But I mean, guys on TRT, we don't care. We don't care. We want what will be effective. You know what I mean? We don't necessarily want what you think is going to be more convenient for us. So it's been really interesting for me to get over that, couple days of overstimulation and getting on prop. I dosed a couple 100 milligrams of theanine in the beginning, and that kind of helped me to get through that first couple days. And then that all balanced out. You have to remember, if you're coming from a long ester, that's still coming out of your system. So testosterone levels are higher, there's more central nervous system stimulation. So that kind of stuff is going to happen in that case. All right, let me just get to you guys that are here. If you got questions, post them. I will put them on the screen. In the meantime, boys, right now, probably the best special is the Cortex stack, 25% off. Code is 25 Cortex. You buy it at livecortex.com. I mean, that stuff, like, dude, I built a really, really good stack with Cortex. It is just so good. The bottle's beautiful too. Look at that. Ring. Best part about it is you get 60 capsules, so it's 30 days. And some people only need to take one. So you might buy a bottle and have it last for 60 days instead of 30 because you only need one capsule. Code is on the screen. Links are down below. Codes are down below. Torque stack is also 15% off. All right. What's up, everybody? Hey, Donald Pump. What's good? Hope you're great. Chino, nice intro with the countdown. Wagyu beef. Yeah, man, this stuff's unreal. It's unreal. It makes you think when you have good quality beef, hold on, let me adjust my camera a little bit here. It makes you realize how bad beef is from the supermarket. Just random beef that you're going to get at the supermarket is kind of bad. I don't know if it's excess hormone profile, because there is that. I don't know what they're fucking giving them. Obviously, what they feed them matters, and how the health of that animal is, and the nutrient profile of the beef that you're consuming. But the Wagyu beef is really something else. When you get good quality beef, it's something else. Have I tried testosterone enanthate? Yes, I have. Yep, pretty much the same response as cypionate. I could dial in on it, but again, there were days where I didn't feel good. I had to inject infrequently in order to not have constant saturation of the receptors for estradiol. Maybe there's some interplay with sex hormone binding globulin, although I was meticulous about testing it. It didn't fluctuate all that much, during that time. I don't, again, I can make longer esters work, but I can't inject it every day. I can't just be constantly exposed to estradiol. I need peaks and troughs. It's just what allows the system to work. Now, some would say, maybe you're actually giving a little bit of, you're giving some degree, you're lessening the suppression of the HPG axis even though you've got cypionate in the system and it's stimulating it and they're not, the hypothalamus is not pumping out gonadotropin releasing hormone. Maybe there's something to that, right? Maybe there's something to it. But I wager that the longer esters, the real issue with some guys who don't do well on them, unless they, inject very infrequently, is oversaturation of estradiol. Even though the numbers say you're in range, again, we know that it's an intricate hormone, right? It's not paracrine like the rest of these hormones, and that, the serum tells you something, but it's not telling you what's happening at the tissue level. So yeah, and it wasn't particularly great for me. Again, I can make the long esters work. I just got to spread it out, which comes with its own side effects. The minimal acne, or the acne that I get from cypionate, just goes away with prop. It's really interesting because there's no constant exposure. Literally the next day, you might have some acne from the surge during the day. You might see a degree of prominence in some of the existing acne, but you wake up the next morning when you're troughing, which by the way feels fine. I feel totally fine in the morning before I inject, and the acne is a lot less pronounced, and it just goes away over time. Again, no constant stimulation. Josh says, you talked about long COVID last stream. I swear I've been sick for a month now. You said it wipes out bifidobacteria. What exactly did you do to cure long COVID? I read about lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is one part of it, and that assumes that your ferritin levels are too low and that you have a problem with iron storage. People on those forums tend to find something that may have worked for them, and then they just write this big long, article about it on Reddit, and then and then people believe them or whatever. I don't know. They just think that's the end all be all. It's a very complex disease, long COVID. The most effective thing I did was eat Mediterranean. So no inflammatory reactions at all. I stopped drinking booze. I stopped drinking booze 2 years ago. I guess that was around when the time this happened. And I drank a lot of baby formula. I know that sounds wacky, but biohackers get into wacky shit. And it's because we're studying things and we have theories about stuff and we have to try them. And it turns out the human milk oligosaccharides in baby formula is what your mother's breast milk is comprised of, which is the biggest catalyst of bifido species in the gut. So first species you get, they then trigger the production of the rest of your gut species. So that was it. Now look, I experimented with H1 and H2 receptor antagonists, which block the histaminergic reaction at the receptor site, which is a big problem in long COVID, overreaction to histamine, probably because bifido is knocked out. Bifido degrades histamine. It's a histamine degrading species. Some of them are, right? And so that helped, but antihistamines come with their own side effects as well. People say don't do cardio, don't work out. That actually helped me to work out. I mean, I couldn't picture having something wrong with me and not working out. A good degree of the post-exertional malaise that people get with long COVID is because COVID and these post-acute sequelae syndromes inhibit HPG axis functionality. It's literally destroying communication between your hypothalamus, pituitary, and your gonads, among other things, right? I mean, this is where your thyroid hormones are coming out as well, right? Hypothalamus, pituitary. So a lot of these people need to look at their hormone levels. And unfortunately, the medical establishment does not do people any benefits in these cases because they look at their blood work. And if they're in range, but just on the low end of the reference range, they do nothing. Maybe you need to be higher in the reference range. So it's a combination of a lot of things. Lactoferrin individually is not going to help. Significantly, you can't look at some multifaceted complex disease state and think one thing is going to help it. That is a fallacy of the internet. Donald Pump's been doing grass-fed, grass-finished beef and eggs and dairy from Sprouts market recently. I love it. I mean, you just tend to feel better. If I have higher quality beef, let me just say it like this. If I have low quality beef, because I've gotten low quality beef in a pinch at the store, I don't feel as good. Dare I say I even feel a little bad from eating low quality beef, right? Grass-fed, grass-finished, high quality, which usually means very expensive, obnoxiously expensive, unfortunately. Beef makes me feel very good, So people will just shun whole food groups or whole foods, like certain kinds of foods, because it made them feel bad. Really, it was the quality of the food. DJ Millen, hey Ryan, what nootropics work best when you have a cold or feeling run down? I'd honestly be sticking with the methylxanthines. It's really the only thing you can do. High dose vitamin C, 500 milligrams or so. You'd be surprised how much that works to counter, some of the damage the inflammatory cytokines are doing wherever they're ending up, either in your brain or elsewhere. Vitamin C is an underrated, supplement. There's estimations about the quantity of Americans that are deficient in vitamin C, and it's anywhere between 50 and 80%, which is profound. Again, I just had a conversation yesterday with a highly intelligent entrepreneur who is starting a company regarding health and physiology, and he turned me on to some stuff I hadn't known about physiology and about particularly deficiencies that most folks have, including potassium. So, yeah, I don't know. That was a long-winded way of saying mostly stimulants, mostly methylxanthines, and vitamin C. Vitamin C in that case, high dose, 500 milligrams until bowel tolerance. Really, you want to dose that stuff when you're sick. Chino, hey Ryan, you know where I can get OTC to clean the body of a testosterone cycle? When I can get OTC? Don't know what you mean. OTC over the counter to clean the body of a testosterone cycle? Not sure what you mean, brother. After a testosterone cycle, you're going to want a PCT for sure. The only way to do that is to take Clomid. And you could do nothing, but you'll feel pretty terrible for a while. I basically got to feel almost what it feels like to do a PCT when I took a break from Aribidex, because that's in the literature. Take a drug holiday. You don't want any bone mineral density issues. And lowered my testosterone dose to 70 milligrams a week with a little bit of HCG. I went down to 13 estradiol, 576 total test. I got blood work to back that. Felt fucking terrible. And getting off of testosterone when you're used to super physiologic levels of androgens or high levels of androgens is going to feel very fucking terrible if you don't do a PCT. So Clomid's really, the way to do that. I mean, you could mess with kisspeptin and or gonadorelin to do that. But I'm not sure how practical that is. Some of them you got to inject very frequently. Silver Shroud, you weren't joking how effective selenium is. Have had all the typical benefits over better thyroid health. I had to switch from one Brazil nut a day to half of one because it's so effective. Oh, I love that. Yeah, selenium is a massively underrated chemical. Massively underrated. Not only does it inhibit aromatase to some degree or help you to, help estrogen to not go past crazy ranges. I mean, it's all going to be dependent on what you're doing. If you're injecting a ton of tests, you're going to aromatize a lot. But the conversion of T4 to T3, which is your active thyroid hormone, is so important. And selenium is like the element. It's the element that allows your body to do that. Yeah, selenium has been a game changer for me, for clients of mine, for people that I've suggested to you, and thankfully you as well. So that's very awesome. Yes, Clomid would be your answer if you're trying to PCT off a test. But, TRT people are going to go, why are you getting off a test, I'm sure you could have figured out how to make the protocol work, but sometimes it's very difficult. Very difficult. Phenylalanine. I didn't seem overly excited about it and helping with dopamine. I haven't changed my mind. The effect is very comparable to tyrosine, and tyrosine I always personally responded better to. Within the right dose range, too much and I'd be having borderline panic attacks because of the adrenaline. I just don't see phenylalanine. I haven't noticed phenylalanine in myself, and can't say I have a large sample size, maybe 10 people over the years, because it's just not very talked about and I don't suggest it all often. I haven't really seen it differentiate in terms of effects very well from regular tyrosine. I wouldn't recommend boron. Yeah, it modifies SHBG. I think it may lower it so that you have a little more free testosterone in the picture. If that's your problem, then boron would help, but that's rarely the issue. Yes. So this is regarding long COVID. That last one there, we obviously all know that that's effective. It's so funny how the press tried to they actually started an entire campaign, like a psyop on the fucking public to obviously push whatever, their interests wanted to push rather than that third thing there, which we know is pretty fucking effective, dude. Donald Pump got some Black Rifle coffee and torquing my blood. Yeah, Black Rifle. They came on the scene years ago, and I think they're vets that own it. So mad respect, man, for using their product and whatever. Gino, you think taking baby formula can help with stomach ulcers? Maybe, via helping modify the intestinal microbiota, possibly. I think mastic gum would be a better strategy for that, because ulcers are typically caused by, or at least a large percentage of them in the academic papers are caused by Helicobacter pylori, it's a stomach infection that a lot of us have. And it's under control, but the quantity of those bacteria effectively can go out of control, and then it causes symptoms. So it's a major cause of ulcers. H. pylori, look it up. So mastic gum, if you were to take mastic gum, it's got effectively kill mechanisms for H. pylori. It just lowers the quantity of them. You're a beast as well. Walter, do you have a preference between Tonga and Ali or Fedosia when it comes to raising testosterone and helping? Fedosia for sure. Yeah, Tonga's got some mechanisms which will help raise testosterone marginally. The both of them together, anecdotally across the web, seems to be effective. If I were to pick one or the other, it'd be Fedosia for sure. You mimic LH. I think you're getting some luteinizing hormone, follicle-stimulating hormone, the combo receptor binding in the testicles. Baby formula protocol was an 8-ounce glass of Similac 360 Total Care every day. That's what it was. Similac 360 Total Care every day, 8-ounce glass. Nothing more, nothing less. Silver Shroud, is there any benefit to using HCG over something like Fedosia, Cistange, Pine Pollen for boosting free and total test? Yes, there is a benefit over it in that, Fedosia, Cistange, Pine Pollen. Pine's going to help you make a little more free testosterone from your total. Cistange will, mildly upregulate Leydig cell function, which is test-producing cells in the testicles. Fedosia is LH-FSH mimicker, if you will. But HCG it's a very direct agonist of the receptors in the testicles that make you produce both testosterone and sperm. So you're upregulating testosterone, production, otherwise steroidogenesis, like neurosteroids, and spermatogenesis at the same time. Plus, it's about efficacy. Like some of these supplements, they're effective, but you got to dose them in high quantities in a lot of cases. If you're really looking to make a big difference in total testosterone and free test numbers, you're gonna have to dose Pine Pollen a lot. You're gonna have to dose your Fedosia 800 milligrams every other day. Take a break because there's some I think there's some rodent studies that show it to be mildly kidney toxic after a certain threshold. So that's also a benefit. You're not getting any toxicity with HCG. Yeah, we're still alive, Ali. Got here by mistake. Are you alive, bro? Or are you an AI? You still mad that I laughed at Conor losing to Khabib? Haha. Yeah, no, I don't know. I don't think I'm mad. I think Khabib fights like a wrestler, and that's good. Although I guess with Gaethje and some other people later on, he stood up more, But I always God, I hate these guys that like in an MMA bout will strictly do one modality versus doing both. Khabib wrestled bears. If he were to stand up with Conor at the time, there's zero way he would win. Zero way. If I blocked you on Facebook, you were probably being a fucking asshole. And if you want to keep being a fucking asshole, I'll block you here. Okay, shithead? Awesome. Adam Schwartz, straight NAC versus NAC, selenium, and myelobedeno. See, I don't know what that last chemical does. What has NAC been effective for? I think it's a little overrated. I think there's some mild dopaminergic stuff that happens with NAC. I'm not entirely sure. I think that, pretty useful for liver detox as far as I can remember. Other than that, it's just not been a significant compound on my radar. But look, adding selenium to anything is going to be pretty effective and might even improve the efficacy of the thing that you are taking otherwise. Selenium is just one of the most underrated compounds you could have, period. It's just incredible, honestly. The energy difference. When I started taking, I actually watched my free T3 go from 2.4 to 3.7 or something. It was or 2.7 to 3.5, like something very significant, a short amount of time. That's total optimization of thyroid hormones. Selenium is awesome. It is very, very cool. Highly underrated. One of the best compounds you could ever take. All right, guys. Any other questions? If you got them, post them. I hope you guys are ready for the spring, dude. It is so close. The last 2 weeks, we've had 4 or 5 70-degree days. 70-degree days, man. It's just like, oh, like, dude, you forget how crappy the winter can be. You forget, like, you know, like it's just, okay, in October, it's kind of fun. You're drinking pumpkin spice lattes and like, yeah, all right, cool, whatever. Fall, cool. But then, you know, winter's coming and you're just like, shit, dude, it's going to be crazy. It's going to suck. You know, like the cold, all right, whatever. I don't really mind all that much, but just everything shuts down. It's like you're in this sort of like, everybody is in this depression where you don't get sun. You know, like, what life is that? I mean, people that live in Florida and San Diego, as an example, are probably just physiologically in a better place because they're getting a lot more sun. Now that the birds are out, like, outside is alive. Like, I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to just go outside and you know, see what we get. Chino, you do trading? No. The only thing that I'm into regarding, you know, I don't know what you might call, I don't even know what you would call it, is crypto. I mean, I'm into crypto. Yeah, I've invested many different times in many different cycles in Bitcoin and then pulled out money when it reached its peak. This time, though, I'm not going to pull out because likely we're going to hit 125, 150,000 by 2025 in Bitcoin. Have you tried a cerebral lysine? Yes, I have. I did a cycle of 4 weeks on it, and I covered that in a video somewhat recently. For some reason, my chat is just being a little weird, guys. I don't know why. Hold on a sec, boys. The chat is being weird. I mean, can I get my pop-out chat back? All right, I think we might be okay here, boys. Okay. I think we might be back. Nootropics for rational thinking. Rational thinking? Racetams will probably improve that modality of brain function for sure. Yeah, I mean, I think there's a complex set of neurotransmission that happens for rational thinking. Like one, you can't have a lot of GABA binding. Isn't that weird? You can't have a lot of GABA receptor binding to rationally think. This is why people that drink booze are irrational, you know, or take benzos, you know, or agonizing the GABA A receptor specifically, you know, are less rational. So not a whole lot of GABA binding if you can. You mainly want to optimize acetylcholine and dopamine for rational thinking. Add some energy by antagonizing the adenosine receptors, which, you know, are the targets of caffeine and things like theobromine and teacrine. That's trading, swing trading. Oh, thank you for the info. Give this channel. Of course, man. That's what I'm here for. Yeah, trading itself has seemed attractive to me, but, you know, look, it would take me a year to understand what I'm doing, to be, you know, to not be losing money and whatever. Twerk for work is saying, work with women who don't shut up. Is there any nootropics that help with willpower and mental strength? I'm not even joking. No, bro, I have no idea. You know, I mean, the opposite is the case with most nootropics. Like, I remember early on in my usage of Noopept and I to a degree aniracetam, probably when I was dosing it entirely too high, I would get, and sometimes just other stimulant nootropics, like I'd get pretty, you know, I could get short with people in certain contexts. Like at the store, if people are walking very slow, which they tend to do because their energy is shit, then, you know, among other things, then it just would annoy me. It would significantly annoy me. And I don't know. I'm not much different these days. But yeah, nootropics can intensify that. So there's no answer to that, man. Maybe tell them about it. I mean, if they're actually being disruptive, maybe tell them about it. You know, if you're being like overly aggressive, maybe you need to look at yourself. I don't know the situation, man. Silver Shroud, do you take vitamin and mineral supplement? Yes. Multivitamin, multi-mineral complex by 1 a day. Yeah. I've been thinking about getting Dave Asprey's vitamin D, A, K, and E with mineral supplement. Maybe useful. I mean, Asprey's selling good stuff, hopefully, and it's probably good quality product. So yeah. Yeah. I mean, again, the RDA for stuff is so low. I've for a long time now, I've believed that I don't think we're getting enough vitamins and minerals in our diet. I just don't think it's that possible. unless you're like real, it's like you got to be eating super nutrient dense foods. We're not eating liver every day. I mean, you know, whatever. So I think that whether or not you're optimal on bloods, it's pretty clear that giving people B vitamins, even when they're optimal, is, you know, preventing neurodegeneration and aiding in the brain to function normally. So imagine how many other things are like that, you know, like you'd benefit from a bolus dose to bowel tolerability of vitamin C once a week or twice a week, right? Just to scavenge free radicals. They don't prevent oxidative stress. So, yeah, I think vitamins and minerals in supplement form are very useful, massively underrated, right? And completely counter to what I think mainstream, you know, Gen Pop thinks about it. They're like, vitamins are useless, right? Meanwhile, they're like, they have 70% of the energy that they could have, or worse, less, you know, they're having to take pharmaceutical medications because they can't think straight or they're anxious or whatever, you know, meanwhile, they have vitamin deficiencies. That is the bottom line, bros. I don't know if you guys got plans today. Here it's, man, might be 50, 55 degrees. I've got some web work for my other company that I'm basically going to be doing for the rest of the day today. No major plans. Tomorrow, largely the same. I'm not really sure. It depends on if it's nice out. I'd love to get out on the North Shore, which is where the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pittsburgh Pirates stadiums are here in Pittsburgh, and walk that trail. It's a big trail, like just kind of skirting the river. I would love to do that if it's nice either today or tomorrow. But like I said about summer and winter, like, and just like the major difference, like the contrast between how you feel between seasons. Fuck, man. I just, you start to really realize how awesome it is for weather to be nice when you've been in crappy weather for a while and then weather gets nice again. And I'm just really looking forward to, you know, I'm really looking forward to it. Other questions? If you guys got questions, post them. I think my chat is refreshing, but I don't see any more questions. If you guys got them, post them. In the meantime, as I said in the beginning, probably the special worth noting right now for product, because I always like to give you guys codes, gives us business, gives you guys a discount, is 25% off the Cortex stack, right? Not all day energy, but 4 to 5 hour energy, bros. Instant, right? It's got dynamine in it, which onsets very, very quickly. The stuff is very, very potent. Josh, do you get beef liver in your diet? No, I haven't eaten beef liver in quite some time. Yeah, I had a pretty nasty response to some beef liver supplements that I took. And I think they're dosed very high. There's like a large quantity of vitamin A or some vitamin that you really shouldn't be dosing in excessive quantities that absolutely can come with side effects. Austin Barnes just started using test prop with HCG, 100 IU daily for TRT. Trying to recover from some mild PSSD. Yes, I remember your comment earlier today. And, you know, with PSSD, cypionate may work, enanthate may work with HCG, with some tadalafil, with penile rehab, like using like the Phoenix or a shockwave device. There's a lot of things you got to do in that case. Or, I mean, you're just running androgens, the right protocol while estrogen is hopefully in control. And you might have to give it a year. You might have to give it a long time, you know, for things to balance out. It's so difficult and situations are variable. I've had guys get better on just TRT and HCG. Then I have a client now who, you know, hasn't gotten better on that. The protocol really hasn't been dialed in because he is aromatizing far more than any other human being would. And he's also very sensitive to testosterone and that it just skyrockets his levels. You know, and that isn't resolving the issue because estradiol's out of range. So it's a hard one. I've seen guys recover from Proviron, Clomid, and Cialis. I've seen guys recover from just Proviron and some HCG and Cialis. So, you know, it's variable between people. And, you know, I can have theories all day about why one protocol works versus another, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, frankly, to be honest, I really don't know. And that sometimes bothers me a little bit, but yeah. I mean, test prop, you have the best chance. I mean, you have a good chance with most esters, but again, some of them are harder to dial in. Test prop is the easiest testosterone ester to dial in. It's the easiest, right? Because, you know, 19 hours after any injection, half of it's already out of your system, right? And then the ensuing 19 hours, you know, most of it is out thereafter. So you can make changes relatively quickly and change your protocol if you need to, you know, after 10 days, call it. It's probably sooner, but after 10 days of running prop, you're at steady state. Like, you know, there isn't some additional, you don't have to wait 6 weeks like a regular TOT protocol. That is so clutch, by the way, for those of us biohackers that like to change things. Anyway, HCG is going to be useful for you. Test prop's going to be useful. You got to find your dose. You know, you might need to be super physiologic as long as estradiol doesn't go crazy super physiologic. And then again, with prop, you'll have a peak and a trough. So estrogen's going to go back down. So you don't have constant saturation, you know, at a ERB receptors, ERA receptors, and that might be useful. But yeah, patience, my man. Keep that protocol and look into doing penile rehab as well. Walter, do you have any opinions on pre-workouts before the gym? Lots of things. Phenylpiracetam is one of the most effective pre-workouts in the world, I think, because you're both activating cholinergic activity, which will help muscle contraction, and you are blocking the reuptake of dopamine to a marginal extent, but enough of an extent where you actually get a significant benefit from, where you're energized and motivated and ready for the gym. In addition to that, though, or separately from that, I would say just take teacrine. I mean, that not only is a powerful stimulant that'll get you into doing what you're doing, it'll release some dopamine, but it also has scientific literature on it that it, combined with a little bit of caffeine, actually improves physical performance. Actually will improve physical performance. Austin Barnes, how would you go about tapering out of test E as you add in prop? I would just make the switch. That's it. I just make the switch. You know, the test ananthate will be in your system to some degree for probably 4 weeks. So you're not going to, you know, you shouldn't change the test prop dose because things aren't going well in week 3. You should probably wait until all that ananthate is out of your system. But, you know, I guess that all depends too. I mean, it depends on how you're metabolizing it. Like, you know, when I switched to propionate from testosterone cypionate, yeah, the first couple days I was overstimulated, and that's because there was more cypionate in the system. But like, you know, at week 3, I really couldn't, it's like, you know, and then week 5, the weeks 5 effects weren't very different from week 3's effects, indicating that the cypionate was largely out by then, you know. So I would just make the transition the next day. You just start doing prop after you've done testosterone ananthate, and just understand that the ananthate's going to be in your blood for some time to come, unknown amount of time, 2 to 4 weeks, call it. Thereafter, you should be good to go. Yeah, graphing it on steroid plotter, yeah, it gets very confusing. You know, 4 weeks or so, and it should be out, maybe even sooner. Just switch and go from there. And things will balance out. Things will maybe be a little shifty for a while, because again, you got that ester still in the system. But once it balances out, you'll know it, because you'll feel predictable every day. You'll feel predictably the same every day, you know. Like, and it didn't take me very long to feel predictably the same on prop. I hope, you know, I hope that I don't get to the point where prop is causing some sort of issue or whatever, because I honestly love it. Rod Farva, can I follow up with a 9-ABC cycle with a cerebral license cycle? Should I take a month off? I mean, the thing about these things is there's no scientific literature which guides us on these kinds of decisions. So, I mean, you always want to take a conservative approach in these cases, in my opinion. So if you ran 9-ABC for a month, I think you'd be fine if you took 2 weeks off and then ran cerebral lysin. Yeah. I mean, there are advanced level biohackers like Leo from Leo Longevity who suggested, you know, both of them at once, I believe. So yeah, maybe he experimented with something I didn't, because I wouldn't take them at once. I'm just real careful about shit. You know, I've bitten myself badly with, you know, experiments gone wrong in the past. And I'm a lot more conservative these days with stuff. So that's just kind of why I'm being conservative. Is there any way to achieve the same level of energy without nootropics? Yeah, testosterone will help a lot. I mean, TRT is a game changer if you can get your protocol straight. I mean, if you go on test prop and you're injecting 20 to 50 milligrams every day, you'll have that energy. If nothing else is causing your energy problems, you'll have that energy. And even if it's a neurotransmitter imbalance, testosterone tends to alleviate those issues or fix them entirely. Sustainable approach to dealing with generalized anxiety. Hard to say, you know, testosterone will be very useful. I always got to go back to TRT because it's so multifaceted. I mean, it literally cures people's depression, anxiety, and a host of other things sometimes, not all the time. So TRT would be useful. I mean, you also have to look at what you're doing that could be causing it. Like, okay, the weight loss medication, you know, that injectable stuff, I forget what it's doing. I forget the mechanism of action. I forget the name of it, but it's very popular. I'm sure you know of it. It's all over commercials. I know people that take that, just friends of mine, and have anxiety. They're suddenly, they're like, oh, I had to go to the doc and get prescribed fucking Xanax. And I'm like, well, what was happening around the time They go, well, I did start the Ozempic shot or whatever. Like, you know, there's all kinds of things that can be causing it. So you got to look at that. It's rarely just going to happen unless something's triggering it to happen. And that could be a deficiency too, which is why I mentioned testosterone. Phenylparastam, awesome pre-workout. Absolutely. Like second to almost second to none. Trying to figure out how to word that. Lock Strugnell is a brokey, but lost GG, brother. You're using Andrew Tate terms. Brokey. We were all that way at some point, brother. You know, that being, you know, I'll go on like a quick tangent. I grew up poor as fuck and you know, like I made okay money in the military, but then and I left the military with about $25,000. I blew that in 2 years trying to start this company, which failed. And then thereafter was just broke. I worked a couple jobs, but mostly was starting companies and really was just super broke and scrappy and whatever. And I just, that in combination with looking at the fact that everybody wants your money, like rent, car, you got to get new tires, everything. The inspections come and you know they're going to find something when they inspect your car, right? You know, like it's endless. So you have to make enough. You have to make more than enough. That's it. And performance, and this goes into what we talk about because performance is really the building block to, you know, to being productive as an individual in the workplace, right? Or as it relates to your financial condition. So yeah, I mean, everybody was like that at one point, you know, including me. And I just got tired of it. And I also improved my performance. That's one of the hugest things. Joe Isaac, one of my close people apparently has balance and movement issue with lack of focus after weed, nicotine, and alcohol. Is it even possible? And what can he do? Well, yeah, of course it's possible. I mean, it's fussing with something. And a lot of people have weird things that now other compounds that used to be harmless are now affecting them negatively. And that's obviously, that has happened during the COVID period is all I'll really say about that. Yeah, I mean, if it was me personally, I'd be looking at mechanistically like, okay, what controls balance? You know, I mean, focus is neurotransmitters, certainly. And try to get to the bottom of what's happening there. But generally, I mean, look at what you're saying. After weed and alcohol, the guy has a focus problem. Now, the balance of movement's a little weird, but focus is not abnormal for, you know, smoking weed and drinking booze. Chino says, Cypionate feels stronger than propionate. Well, I mean, I don't know if your protocol is quite optimal for propionate then, but who knows? I mean, again, like people respond differently to esters, but propionate being less strong than cypionate in what regard? In energy? Hard for me to believe that one. But I mean, I don't know, maybe you're dosing 200 milligrams of cypionate once a week, which actually does work for some people, guys. It actually does. I know the TRT bros want to convince you that you need to inject 17 times a day, but not always optimal. Mario, I just got your Nootropics God course yesterday. It's fire. Love that. Thank you. My question from the course is, would you ever stack a dopamine stack with a verbal fluency stack? Yes, on the same day if two projects stack. Yes, definitely. I mean, you might want to space the stacks out so that, you know, you're not overstimulating, you're not blasting one neurotransmitter too much, because that comes with side effects. You might want to do that, but otherwise, yes, you can do that. The best strategy to take 2 nootropic stacks in a day is to take 2 different ones, or if you're going to take the same one, take less of the dose. Have the doses in the secondary part of the day. If you try to mimic that same response you got initially, you're never going to get it. Just the way the brain works. So, you know, having the doses is usually useful, or targeting a different system entirely. At nighttime, I'll take 300-400 milligrams aniracetam if I need just an extra boost, and that works. Whereas in the morning, if I'm dosing aniracetam, it could be 500, 600, 700 with a little choline, little teacrine. You know, it's just more complex in the morning. 2:40 a.m. New Zealand time. Good morning. Good morning, brother. I appreciate all your comments, all your algorithm comments. It means a whole hell of a lot. Don't think I don't see that shit, bro. I appreciate the fact that you take the time to do that, man. Zakaria is saying, how can you recover brain fog after drug abuse? It's a long, complex set of protocols, man. I mean, hormones for sure. Yeah, and you might want to get on exogenous hormones for that. I'd be taking a B complex with a set of minerals as well. Multivitamin, multimineral. Again, men's 1 a day is a great strategy for that. I don't know, maybe take some vitamin C once a week, 500 milligrams. Because, you know, you probably have some oxidative damage that you want to recover from. Acetyl L-carnitine it's useful for recovering damage done to neurons from oxidative stress induced by alcohol. Okay, that's in a piece of scientific literature. So acetylcarnitine would also be useful for you. But I mean, it's got to be a lot of things. Everything you can do to optimize physiology and health, you should do. Are nootropics beneficial for me despite there is no research? Yes, there's a ton of research on many nootropics. Yeah, I don't know where you're looking or where you're not looking, but I mean, you can go to PubMed and search aniracetam and you're going to find research. You're going to find papers on phenylpiracetam, oxiracetam, piracetam, citicoline. You're going to find papers on PRL853, on NewPap. You're just not looking in the right places. They're everywhere. How you just phrase that as how mainstream thinks, and that's all good. Maybe you just don't know, but yeah, the research has been there for more than a decade. Justin Thompson, if you could make a caffeine-free energy drink, what would you put in it? Caffeine-free? Teacrine. Teacrine 150, theobromine 60, Alcar 400, Macunapurines 500. Done and done. And then you'd be just buzzing for 6 hours after you took it. I mean, that's somewhat what torque is. Just take torque, bro. and you tell me that you don't feel like a beast for 5 hours or 6 hours. It's very, very potent stuff. It's potent stuff, boys. Any other questions, guys? Because you guys know, like, the basis of this live stream is questions, right?
You got questions? You got questions? Got the questions? Ask away. I'd love to answer them. Right here, live on air.
Right on air. Right on air, boys. How can you lower, Nicholas is saying, how can you lower libido level without affecting test too much? How can you lower your libido without affecting testosterone too much? I mean, raise estradiol. One clear cut way to do that would be to double your dose or triple your dose of HCG if you're taking it. If you're not taking it, start taking HCG and taking a good degree of it. Because, you're going to aromatize a lot. That's very clear. Very clear. I mean, there's scientific literature on that. It's not just the anecdotals and the bros saying, hey, we aromatize more from HCG. It upregulates aromatase, but there are papers that show the difference between just testosterone, just being on TRT and estrogen levels, and then being on HCG and where the estrogen levels are. You know, in one case, estrogen levels really didn't change a whole lot with just total testosterone, and they were measuring at trough, so that makes sense. But with HCG, they were 20 points higher from like 35 to 55. So HCG would be the answer. Otherwise, I mean, it's a difficult one. I mean, maybe you're just metabolizing everything the right way, which is good. So raising the test would just raise libido, and then, you know, your E2 would raise as well, but it may not affect you negatively. It doesn't for some people for temporary periods, so who knows? But if that's not the case, just raise your dose. You know, go up to, like, you know, pushing cycle territory. You're going to be hella anabolic, and you're going to look nice and big and full, and you're going to be able to lift heavy and build muscle more, and then the estro will go up. I mean, you could also take DECA, and then your fucking prolactin's going to go up, and then you're not going to have erections and libido. Silver Shroud, remember when people used to believe that PSC stuffers should avoid pretty much anything that affects serotonin? Is there any validity to this at all? No. And I was admittedly one of those people in the very beginning, because I had took 1 to 2 years and was getting emails frequently about it and was like, all right, I'm going to tackle this. Because first of all, I want to help these guys. And secondly, it could be a business. It could be part of my business. It ended up being entirely too much trouble, and it was worth in the end. And not because, like, I didn't want to help people or whatever. Like, I definitely did, but my compliance rate was very low. I'd have a guy on HCG just to start, you know, and 2 weeks in, one side affected the other, or he wasn't comfortable with it, and bailed out. Like, it was just really, really an issue. But in the beginning, yeah, I entertained neurotransmitters as a potential cause. I entertained it, right? Because, yeah, look, neuroendocrine system is a thing. You know, neurotransmitters do interact heavily with the endocrine system, like serotonin, right? Excess levels causes excess prolactin. That's a hormone. That shuts down hypothalamus pituitary secretion of luteinizing hormone. That shuts down your testosterone. So excess serotonin can do that, right? But, if it's causing some issue in that case in the endocrine system, you're not going to reverse that by not working on the endocrine system, right? So, yeah, I think that one guy did one long, extensive video, and he sounded intelligent, and he was pretty verbally fluent, and he made some good points and then some other points that were red herrings, or if you will, or misnomers, however you would say it, regarding the 5-HT1A serotonin receptor. And people ran with that for years. turns out it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant. You know, you got to work on the hormones. That's just it. Whether you think they're good or you know, or not, they're in range. No, like that's some people that are in range on testosterone have no sex drive, right? You gotta optimize them. Danny Bills, could there be any long-term side effects of taking nootropics? Yes. Long-term, I mean, if you continue taking something that is causing you to have a side effect, that is, how do I say this diplomatically? You shouldn't. That's stupid. You know, like that's your problem. Modafinil, if taken too consistently, has the ability to cause facial muscle spasms via this excessive dopaminergic action, maybe tremors elsewhere via the inhibition of the dopamine transporter. So you probably want to be careful about that, you know, which is why I wouldn't take high doses of it every day. On the other hand, people are prescribed that every day and that never happens to them. So, you know, it's different. Choline supplements. Okay. You can reach a point at which there's entirely too much brain acetylcholine available. That causes side effects. So yes, that'll cause you side effects. All the stimulants will cause you side effects past a certain range. High doses of PRL853 have given me side effects, memory defects, which is the opposite of what it's supposed to do. Whereas the sweet spot is perfect and memory's optimized. So, you know, it's about the dose. Max is asking, how can I get HCG legally, illegally? I'm not sure why you would put the word illegally in the context of asking a question of how to pursue something in that regard on our channel. You know, use your brain. Otherwise, get a script with a TRT clinic, you know. I mean, come on, bro. Chino, in your opinion, Romatine for pre-workout, pretty effective. Yeah, I mean, that stuff is like, improves the efficacy of methylphenidate, right? Via dopaminergic actions. But by itself, it's very powerful for stimulating you. Do I think DECA is good for tendon and ligament health and remineralization like it's touted for? Yes, apparently it is. I think there's some mechanisms for that. For BPC 157 is a much better therapeutic option. Yeah, if you have tendon and ligament issues, BPC 157 is a better option, in my opinion. Remineralization, quite frankly, and I hate saying this, estrogen is a great way to remineralize the bones. So you might want to run high estrogen. It might fuck with your dick for a while, but if you need to do that, you need to do that. No, I've never recommended Tongat to clients for testosterone. Yeah, I mean, natural protocols were always pine pollen, Fedosia agrestis, fenugreek, somewhat high dose vitamin D, like 6 KIU a day, but managing the bloods so that you don't go over vitamin D because you don't want to do that. L-carnitine, L-tartrate to somewhat optimize androgen receptor density and function. A massive intake of micronutrients daily, and you can only do that with supplements, among some other things, but never Tongat. Nootropics for Ketonia individuals, not sure what you mean. Fenugreek is awesome. Yes, it's pretty powerful. When I would take fenugreek when I was natural and I was trying to improve testosterone, my test wouldn't jump a whole lot, wouldn't move a whole lot, but I'd feel I had a high sex drive on fenugreek, which is interesting. Don't have any thoughts on dihexa having reversed MDMA induced neurotoxicity. It makes sense though. It's like it's a growth factor receptor agonist. So it's essentially going to catalyze repair in your brain. That's why dihexa is very effective. Nicholas, things that you disagree with Leo in longevity from observed alpha GPC and CDP dosage, SSRI, etc. Yeah, all those things. I don't think there's anything else, but I haven't scoured his videos for things that I disagree with, so I don't know. Yeah, look, what I think Leo was operating from regarding alpha GPC was not a whole lot of client data and more of the research, which Leo tends to do, and that's a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. It's confusing because the research says that you need 200 to 500 milligrams, upwards of 500 milligrams of alpha GPC to get substantial effects, but you have to keep in mind that research is being presented in a way which, like, the people that they were affecting and the conditions that they were affecting were old people and neurodegeneration, right? So, you know, when you're dealing with a 27-year-old, 35-year-old, 42-year-old man, it's a lot different than a 76-year-old guy with dementia, right? So, excess levels of choline in the brain, which alpha GPC actually has more choline per milligram than citicholine, causes side effects. It just causes side effects. And I think it's upregulating clearance of acetylcholine, and that clears it too fast and you have side effects. It's like acetylcholine esterase upregulation is what I would wager happens when that happens. But it could be something else. I don't know. There's just no way for me to figure out that mechanism. It's nowhere in the literature. So you got to guess. But also, look, I've seen hundreds of people over the years that respond very poorly to high dose choline, and probably Leo hasn't. But that's because Leo wasn't the nootropics guy for 10 years consulting people on nootropics. I was. So it's just a matter of, trusting literature. SSRIs, I mean, I don't know why. Look, there are benefits in neurogenesis from taking SSRIs. You could achieve that otherwise, secondly, though. But like, I just have too many, have had too many people come to me with muted sexual function and neuroendocrine problems that, may take a year to resolve from taking citalopram or sertraline. So, it's just, when you see that, you don't mess around with it. Best nootropic for multitasking, probably high dose aniracetam. High dose, because medium dose you'll focus better. High dose you will want to switch between tasks. Taruna, can I use Torque to focus for a replace for ADHD medication? Yeah, you would want to talk to your doctor about that for sure. Can't be diagnosed with ADHD, or they won't, or you don't actually have it. I'm not sure what you're saying there. Yeah, look, I mean, ADHD medication is dopaminergic medication. So I'll just put it like this. If you try to replicate enhancement of the dopamine system with supplements, you're going to get a comparable effect. So hope that helps. Fenugreek is awesome. Yes. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. Thoughts on injectable L-carnitine as fat burner versus nootropics effects probably would be useful. Give a Breaking Bad Habits tip. Breaking Bad Habits, huh? I don't know, man. So much of Breaking Bad Habits is like, I wouldn't call it psychological, because some of it's physiological, like if you drink too much or if you smoke or whatever. But like, I don't know. When I was in the army, I smoked cigarettes 2 packs a day. In Iraq, probably 2.5 packs a fucking day, which is terrible. When I quit at 26 or so, and by the way, that I didn't permanently quit. I quit for like years and then started again, then quit. I threw my cigarettes out the window driving to some place one day. And I also told myself, like, people go, when you quit smoking, you're going to want to eat more, drink more coffee. You're going to be overweight, like all these things happen. I told myself none of these things will happen to me. I just didn't buy into it. And in fact, none of those things happened. A little rough for 2 weeks. And then after I didn't give a shit. So, some of it, you got to tell yourself a different story than what mainstream tells themselves and make yourself believe it. And then when you quit the thing, you'll be like, whatever. But I think also, is your habit detrimental to you? So detrimental enough that you must stop. Or makes you do things that destroy relationships or something, like alcoholism, right? I've dealt with many alcoholics in my day. I had an ex-girlfriend that was an alcoholic, and yeah, I mean, and she didn't even hit her bottom. She just, the things she did destroyed our relationship over and over and over again. I finally was like, there's no salvaging this. I just pack my shit and I've got to go. But, she never reached a bottom enough to recognize that she needed to change that habit, to break that habit of boozing. She eventually got sober-ish, and probably, I don't know if that's permanent or not. It's actually hard to tell with them. But, look, man, if that habit had gotten if it had hurt her so much, like if she went and got a liver scan and she had fatty liver and enzymes were elevated and the doc was going, you might die in the next year if you continue, that might be bottom enough. So you gotta have a big reason to break a bad habit. If it's really messing with you, it's very easy. If it's messing with your health, it's very easy. If it's messing with your life, it's very easy. But if it isn't messing with you enough, you're just going to keep doing it because you go, I can get away with it. Here's a stack for people. A gram of Alcar, 700 myo-inositol, 10 milligrams dihexa, 5 milligrams Nupep, 700 milligrams choline 3 times a week. I would hope that's choline bitartrate, because that is less bioavailable, so people can tolerate higher doses. My thoughts are, the choline should be lower. I mean, that's a lot of choline. 5 milligrams Nupep is fine. I think the Alcar dose is pretty good. It depends. Some people get like anxious and overstimmed from Alcar. I do, but the right dose is fine. I'm at 400 or 500 milligrams and I feel great on the stuff. Like very, very energized and good. Marion saying thoughts on fasting versus taking 2 nootropics extra in the day on an empty stomach. Each time carbs come into the mix, I feel the nootropics effects vanish instantly. Yeah, I mean who knows what's happening there? Like it's up regulating glucose. Glucose is clearing them out. It's difficult to tell what happens there. Yeah, I mean fasting, you're burning fat. You might be in ketosis while you're fasting, and so that's giving you some brain energy in that period. I don't know. I mean, look, don't eat. If it could be as simple as just don't eat during that time and get your performance in, and then when that's over, eat again. The same can be said though for if you fast too much, the moment you eat food again, you're going to feel bad. And that doesn't mean fasting is good, because eventually you're going to starve yourself, right? And eventually you're going to starve your cells, and you're not going to have enough nutrients and enough calories, and you're going to feel shitty and you're going to deteriorate. If you keep doing that, you die. Right. So, like don't go extreme on some diet to the point where when you cycle off of the diet and you're on regular food, you feel bad. It shouldn't be like that. And that happened to me when I fasted, when I was doing, 16-8 and intermittent fasting, and I ran keto prior to that. When I eat regular food, I felt bad. I'm like, see, the keto guys were, the paleo guys were right. All this food is toxic. Bullshit. It's not. You're just not used to dealing with it. You're not used to dealing with it. And all kinds of systems downregulate when you don't eat, when you starve yourself, And then when you bring those foods in, you don't have the digestive enzymes, etc., to even deal with them. You shouldn't get yourself in that place to begin with. That's it. Nicholas, do you still wake up at 5:45? Yes. It feels awesome to get things done early. Absolutely. When people are sleeping. Totally. Yeah. I mean, and Saturday today, so I was at the gym at 6. I woke up at 5:20 or something. Inject testosterone, hang out with my cat for a little bit, go to the gym. And on Saturdays, like not many people are there at 6. At 6, there's a group that goes to my gym that are there every weekday. And it's all the same people. It's very cool. It's like a cheers environment. Everybody knows everybody that's been going there for 2 fucking years. Like you go for 2 years, you're going to know people. You're going to eventually get hi, what's your name, whatever. And I like that, but not many people are there Saturday. I guess they come at 7 or whatever. But yeah, I can't change. Like I just, I wake up at 5:20 and I'm good. I've slept enough. My brain's awake. I can't sit there any longer. I don't need to. And so that's really why I get up. Suggestions on eliminating tinnitus or reducing. God, it's such a hard one, man, because a lot of things can induce tinnitus, ranging from like malfunctioning kidney, malfunctioning liver, to excess levels of acetylcholine can cause tinnitus. To fluid balance problems can cause tinnitus as well. Salt water balance issues, electrolyte deficiencies, or electrolyte abnormalities can cause tinnitus significantly. I'm not sure the mechanism for it. I mean, maybe like, I don't know, some water in the extracellular space or something where it's not supposed to be. It's a difficult one. But I think you got to look into all those things and see if any of those things are triggering it. If you're around loud noises for a long time, you'll have tinnitus. I have it. It's not bad, but I don't think I'll be able to get rid of it completely. Odie, one main reason people lose weight on all these diets is because restricting macros ultimately lowers your calorie count. Good point. Yeah, pretty much. I mean, look, keto, it's like, okay, you remove carbs and, sure, fat is calorie dense, but you can only eat so much fat and then you're sated for a while. And you go from what is 1,950 calories to even 1,650. You're losing weight. You're under this is a good point. It's exactly it. People like to look at the diet, the red herring, the thing that's standing in your face and is prominent as the cause for your weight loss, when really the cause is you're eating less calories. Yeah, it's totally true. Totally true. Diets generally are not good for you. They're just not, balance of everything is really where it's at, ladies and gentlemen. That is where it's at. Any other questions? If you guys got them, post them. If not, we out of here, boys. We out of here. I'm going to go and eat some Captain Crunch and some blueberries and some cornbread and some muffins and some gravy too. Just gravy. Just gravy. And bacon. No, I'm just joking. Breakfast this morning was bacon and 2 eggs and an English muffin And my snacks throughout the day, usually I kind of been digging vegetables and dip. I've honestly been digging that lately. It's boring and doesn't taste great, but you know, it makes you feel good. And that's what's more important about food. Last night, again, I had some Wagyu beef. I had so much beef last night, dude. And I woke up feeling remarkable just because of it, you know. It was something else, man. I haven't had Wagyu in years, and I think I tried it once back in the day, and then I, you know, had a really good quality Wagyu. Like the bill was $250 or $350, I forget what it was, $250, and it was just they brought us some beef, and we had potatoes and sprouts, me and this guy, and man, but very, very good, very, very good. Have you taken a stack today? Nope, just testosterone this morning. Testosterone propionate at 18. I'm at 18 milligrams. I know I said 20 yesterday. That's just a round. It's actually difficult on an insulin syringe to pinpoint. It's 18 some days, 19, 20 some days. It's just difficult. But that this morning, gym at 6 a.m., breakfast thereafter, a little bit of web work for my other company. And then here we are at the live stream. I don't know that I'll take a stack today. I've been very busy. I've done back-to-back meetings for 2 weeks now. You know, like I'm seeing a girl, and like, so I've just been busy. So, you know, like my brain, I think I just need to chill today. I might find a good movie, which is real hard to find, dude. They don't make them. They don't make good movies. Side note, bro. Like 10% of available movies on YouTube or whatever are good. The rest of them suck. I got to rewatch The Irishman, I guess, because it's the only good movie. What about niacin? Do you need experience to flush be effective? I believe so. Yep, I believe so. Yeah, that's the only way you're going to force all that prostaglandin release and prostaglandin receptor binding, which is where you get a lot of the cardiovascular benefits, the erectile function benefits from niacin. You know, I just, you know, man, niacin's somewhat like testosterone cypionate, where it's like it's too slow and like, you know, it's just, I don't know, maybe that's a bad example, but like you need niacin to flush you. By the way, at 7:20 or whatever this morning, I was bright red and I flushed this morning. And yeah, it sucks that, you know, when I take a shower, it burns a little bit. It feels like sunburn, but you know, it's worth it. The niacin flush is worth it. You want your endothelium functioning great, man. You don't want problems with your arteries or blood flow. It's one of the leading causes of death here in the United States and elsewhere. So niacin is one way to deal with that, so long as you're not overdosing it, in which case you can create some inflammatory byproducts that might be counter to what you're trying to do in terms of cardiac function. So the right amount is beautiful. Get the flush niacin in, boys, and flush away and have fun. All right, I'm going to end the stream, guys. Great questions. Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate that you guys take the time to come here on Saturday morning. I hope you, is it Saturday? Yeah. Hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. Hope you're ready for the spring. I mean, this is season change. If your life is in a place where you've been somewhat stagnant, hey, make the spring about something better. Performance is first. You know, if you're not motivated about anything, your performance is probably lacking, almost definitely. As many of you as possible that, you know, want to optimize testosterone, look into TRT if you're old enough. Otherwise, look into trying to do it anyway, because it'll change your life. Nootropics are a huge mediator of brain performance. I mean, you're in control of how you can output, you know, productivity and how your brain functions and how much information you can hold in there and how verbally fluent you are and how much you can focus and stuff via knowing how to use nootropics the right way. So that's what this channel is about. It's been a pleasure hanging out with you guys. Much more content coming this week. I got a bunch of cool topics lined up. So they're going to launch Monday, Wednesday, Friday, pretty much every other day is the schedule right now. So look forward to that. Like the video if you haven't. Product at livecortex.com. Discount codes in the description. Rock on, boys and girl. I think there's maybe one or two girls here. Hope you're doing great. Have a nice day. Later.